Welcome to Chapter 10 of Web of Cruelty. Azora and Morgan walk out of the dancing haven. Azora says, "So, how does it feel to be a new acolyte?" Morgan laughs and says, "I don't know, it's hard to describe, but my insides feel cold, like I did something important. I guess it feels good." Azora says, "Yeah, changing your own life can make you feel that way. I'm glad you're happy." Morgan says, "I'm glad you and Nerevar saved me." "I don't know if we saved you, we just pushed you to save yourself," says Azora. "Well, you can call it whatever you want, but I think I'll just say you saved me," Morgan says. They both laugh. She is starting to see Azora and Nerevar as parental figures. Azora says, "Come with me," and leads her to another building to meet a young wood elf man. She says, "Morgan, this is Ardeen. He's the first person Nerevar recruited, but I helped. Ardeen, this is Morgan. She's our newest recruit." Morgan says, "Hello, Ardeen." "Hello, Morgan," says Ardeen. "How were you recruited?" "I was rescued from Menzoberranzan by Azora and Nerevar," says Morgan. "How are you recruited?" Ardeen says, "I was a lonely ranger in a forest, and they met me and converted me to the worship of Ilustri." Morgan says, "Oh, you're a ranger? Well, I'm a cleric of war." Actually, that reminds me, what domain of cleric are you, Azora? And what domain is Nerevar? Azora says, "Nerevar is actually a paladin, but I'm a cleric of light." Morgan says, "What domains does Ilustri favor?" "Light, life, and nature," Azora says. Morgan says, "I'd like to learn one of those domains then." "You'll also need to be taught how to dance and play either the flute, horn, or lyre," says Azora. Morgan says, "How do you know I don't know how to dance or play instruments?" Azora says, "I just assumed because you come from Menzoberranzan, and they don't respect art as much as the surface." Morgan says, "Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So what happens next?" "Well, what do you want to do next?" says Azora. Morgan says, "I want to rest, but I would like to start training to become a sword dancer tomorrow." Azora says, "Okay, I could teach you the ways of the sword dancer tomorrow." Morgan says, "All right, I'm glad you're doing so much for me." Azora smiles and walks away. Morgan says, "So, Ardeen, I noticed that you were mostly silent. Do you talk much?" "I had nothing to say." "No, I don't speak much," says Ardeen. Morgan says, "That's fine. What do you do?" Ardeen says, "What do you mean? I hunt for the promenade." Morgan says, "Okay, but I wanted to know about your hobbies." Ardeen says, "I like hunting and being alone in forests. Well, I also like hanging out with animals. I really like listening to music, but I was never allowed to have any instruments. I also like playing with spiders," says Morgan. "Why did you join the Temple of Ilustri?" he says. "She's a hunting goddess, and I never felt like the gods of..." Wait. Oh, okay. She's a hunting goddess, and I never felt like the gods of my homeland cared about me. I do feel like she cares about me, though." Morgan says, "Oh, that's sad. Why do you feel that way about the wood elf gods?" He says, "Sorry, I don't want to talk about it." Morgan says, "Oh, that's fine. However, that piqued her interest, her curiosity." She says, "Okay, I'll go explore now." She walks out into the open promenade. So that was chapter